Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If you just joined us, this is TMI Sunday's edition, and we are taking a look at EDO 2024, extreme preparedness of political parties. But this time around, we're taking it to the local governments. How prepared are they? Cutting across all political parties. Don't forget that next month, November 11th, so to speak, Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi will be holding their election. Governorship election, we're having feelers from that. But today, let's focus on how ready we are for our own. Because according to one of my friends, say politicians' plan starts immediately he assumes office. That's when they start planning for the next election. So ours is next year, but activities are already showing so many interests of various political parties. Well, with me here in the studio to talk about this, I have a legal practitioner, public affairs commentator, human rights activist. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo. Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
It's a delight being here. Good morning, Wilson.
Good morning. Well, it has started. It has begun. We've seen posters, seen aspirants showing interest for that coveted seat at the Dennis Osadebe Avenue. Who will be the next governor of Edo State? That is a question many persons, both in our own state and in the diaspora, are asking. You get to hear about so many agenda. But right now, let's take a look at local government council, because it is a grassroots, and many of the opinion that, look, without taking a look at that particular sector, which is a grassroots, many political parties might just be missing it. Some of the opinion that, we talk about the rural areas, local government in the rural areas, yes, is up. The tempo is high, but going down, I'm sorry, talking about the urban areas, rather, the tempo is high. But moving to the rural area, the story is somewhat different. What do you have to say about this?
Well, Wilson, if we are to visit the extant constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 7 provides for the local government as the third tier of government. By interpretation, it simply means that the local government is the closest government to the people. And just about 2 months ago in Edo State, we witnessed a dramatic form of selection, though the ruling party headed by the government.
Selection or election? Let's be guarded, please.
Selection.
Election, please.
Selection, please.
Election was conducted. So
there was no election in Edo State.
Of course, there was an election.
Okay,
please.
If you say so, but to my mind, there was no election. And we saw that drama wherein some persons were just elected, and even before the purported selection process was concluded, we already had results making the rounds, flying everywhere. And the next puzzle we had was that it was 18/18. And that takes my mind back to the election conducted by INEC on the presidential elections, to be precise, on the 25th of February 2023, and that of the 11th day of March 2023, the governorship / House of Assembly elections. And when I saw the one that was conducted by the Edo State government via EDSEC, I begin to wonder if really our leaders think about Nigerians. And my conclusion, with no apology to any person, is that our leaders are not ready, and they are not thinking of Nigerians. Rather, they are thinking for themselves. Because we've seen egocentrism be practiced by our leaders, and they practice it vehemently. And they feel that nobody, no person, or group of person or persons will be able to tell them anything. Hence, they want to tie every one of us to their apron, or their whims and caprices supersedes everything that is done in this part of the world. So, just now that you are telling me about Edo 2024 elections, we saw about 3 years now, the governorship election that took place in Edo State, how the people of Edo State stood behind the just now ruling party, stood behind the governor, the person of Mr. Godwin Obaseki. Edo State people stood behind him. We saw phrases of different manner. Edo not be Lagos. We saw phrases of a different manner. Togba, Ogbane. We saw different things of that magnitude. And the people of Edo State ensured that their amiable governor becomes or succeeds in becoming the governor of Edo State. And the election came, and it turned out to be that what the people desired, what the people wished, what the people wanted as at that time came to pass. But what I want to ask you just now, the local government election has just come and gone, and we saw 18/18 by the People's Democratic Party led by Mr. Godwin Obaseki administration. Would you say that that was an election? Would you agree? Tell the people of Nigeria, people of Edo State, to their face that there was an election in Edo State. That aside, now what has people benefited from the administration of Mr. Godwin Obaseki? The only thing we have seen in Edo State is a big signboard. This is Federal Road, Edo State government, bear with us. That's what we have seen. We've seen, I was in court on Thursday in Delta State. And when I stood up to tell the court, my lord, please, I want my matter to be mentioned because I'm coming out of jurisdiction. I'm coming from Edo State, so that I will also see roads to go back home, my lord. Please. And the court just looked at me. And before you know, fellow lawyers, both senior and junior colleagues in court, started mocking me. That, oh, you people, you place a big signboard. This is Federal Road. Is it federal government that is using the road, or the people of Edo State? I was mocked. And I became ashamed of myself. And that is the chloroquine bitter truth that was told me. So, when we begin to talk about the local government elections, and we talk of the anticipated governorship election come next year, with this INEC that we have, I don't think there's anything that Nigerians want to hear. And let me tell you, INEC, the politicians, have succeeded in telling the people of Nigerians that we don't need your votes. Whether you vote or not. In what ways? Yes, because there's going to be gross voters' apathy. The people of Nigerians are not interested in coming out to vote again. But many points, they're coming out to vote. They are not. Many are interested. The people of Nigeria, I am standing here and saying it. The people of Nigeria are not interested. You are speaking for yourself right now. I am not speaking. I am the only voice in the wilderness. We'll see. Let me tell you just now. Or I may be the only voice in the wilderness. Speaking for the people. Because now the people are tired. Because Section 14, subsection 2A of the 1999 Constitution, the extant Constitution, does say that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria. And I want to tell you just now that the only way that the people of Nigeria exercise their sovereignty is at the ballot paper. And now these men have deliberately hijacked the ballot papers. To the extent the sovereignty now goes to a few. The few who feel that they are almighty men. The few who feel that they are Nebuchadnezzar of this generation. The few who feel that they are the Pharaoh of this generation. The few who feel that they are the Herods of this generation. And do you know that the pains, the penury, the poverty we see today in Nigeria is deliberate by the people, by the politicians? Deliberately inflicted on the people of Nigeria. I want to tell you your own opinion, because people will differ. It is my opinion. Differ. It is my opinion. I saw a French philosopher, a video of a French philosopher. He took a hen, he removed the feathers of the hen, and the hen was bleeding. And the man was now dropping corn. As he was walking away dropping the corn, the hen was following him, picking the corn. And do you know what he said? That this is the leaders of Africa and Africans. That was a shame. How can you give us that kind of description? But do you know it? The man was not far from the gospel truths. So today, just now, we are here talking about 2024 governorship elections in Edo State. And we have other elections which are coming up before even that of the Edo State. We have that of Bayelsa, we have Imo, we have Kogi State. And here we are, shamelessly. INEC has come out again to tell us that the INEC commissioner or resident, whatever he calls himself, in Bayelsa said they are going to do the election manually. Now, INEC chairman has come to debunk it, that they are going to do it electronically. In fact, one of the papers this morning said, in line with the law. So, does it now mean that INEC rules and regulations is a law? The same thing that was argued, that it is irrelevant, that INEC has the almighty power, quote and unquote, to decide which method, which process to use. You see how we are deceiving ourselves. And you make the people of Nigeria to feel so irrelevant with the scheme of things in Nigeria.
Let's come back again to Edo State. Let's come back to Edo State's X-raying parties' readiness for the election. From our own analysis, are political parties really ready for this election in Edo State come 2024?
Well, I am not a politician, and from what I have seen on ground just now, all of the political parties will respect to, well, we may conclude that Edo State's forthcoming governorship election in 2024 is still far. Perhaps, maybe that is the reason why we have not seen the political parties coming out to show, to tell the people of Edo State what they have to give to the people of Edo State. But be it as it may, we have also seen certain individuals, billboards. We have seen certain individuals on social media. We have seen certain individuals on both the electronic and printing media trying to tell the people of Edo State about their interests in the forthcoming elections. But politically, we have not seen any just now, save that we witnessed some drama some time ago with the ruling party, where somebody showed an interest and the other godfather said, no, you cannot show an interest. Instead, you must, both of us who came together, we also go together. And we saw all of those drama. Then we have seen pockets of interest shown by some non-governmental organizations, or what they call like IPAC. We've seen they come out to tell the people of Edo State. But then, my worry is this. None of these political parties just now have been able to convince or confuse, or to convince and confuse the people of Edo State. One, the conviction and the confusion that the people need just now is that their vote will count. Because in a situation where the vote of the people will not count, what is the essence of going to queue to vote? Because already we are made to understand that in Nigeria, the vote of the people does not count.
It counts, Barrister. Our vote counts. Our vote matters. So please, let's get guarded.
The spirit of Emilokon is what is invoked in Nigeria today.
What do you mean by the spirit of Emilokon? It was a comment made by someone because he wants to go out there to campaign.
I just now seated there with you, Wilson, can declare the spirit of Emilokon. And if I have the money, I will win the elections. That is what we have seen. Nobody, amongst the politicians, want to tell Nigerians the truth. Even the politicians is what they want to hear, that they want you and I to tell them. And in a situation like that, do you think there is going to be development? Do you think there is going to be growth? I argued some time ago. I said, look, laws are not mere cosmetics. They have two principles that guide laws for the law to be effective. One, they must be observed. Two, they must be obeyed. You don't observe law and you don't obey it. In Nigeria, the politicians only observe the law when it favors them, but they don't obey it in its entirety. And that somebody is telling me, oh, how do we execute that law? When you don't observe it and you don't obey it, how do you execute it? Execution becomes difficult. And that is why the train that is moving now, some of them have tagged it a moving train, is that you don't observe and you don't obey laws. That is the train that 90% or more of the politicians are into.
But that is a purview in the sense that judiciary, they are the ones judging these cases, marshing out the cases, executing judgments, and all that. Come on, you're going to put position right now because say if you have any reservation, go to court.
Wilson, we had
That is your purview. Go to court.
Even in our state here.
Yes.
The governor said, I will invest in judiciary. And I laugh. What do you mean by investing in judiciary? What the judiciary needs is autonomy. The judiciary does not need the investment of the executive.
What about the structures? He built it for them.
What structure? Okay, is that the investment?
It's part of the investment.
Listen, let me tell you the truth.
You need a conducive environment to declare or will I say read out judgment, or you go to court to marshal out your cases.
It has become a laughing phrase, go to court. That's why even in sports now, when you don't succeed, they will tell you go to court. When you come to the studio here and you are not able to do your job very well, and the company, ITV, say, oh, you are not doing your job very well, we don't think we need you. Go to court. So going to court is now a mockery. Why? Because they think they have the court on their palm.
And that's where you hear from.
I am a minister in that temple. I get me? And I don't have the final say in that temple. Because the priest of the temple, who is the judge, who is also under the supervision of the chief judge and the chief justice in Nigeria at the top of the ladder, are those who make the decisions. Now, their hands are tied behind the back. What do you want them to do? So, what they are anticipating is more investment from the executive, either from the president or from the governors, as they have declared that they are going to invest in the judiciary. So their investment in the judiciary is shut up when we sneeze.
That is not correct. That is not correct. You are on national TV. Let's be guarded, Barrister Emmanuel Obakolo. Don't let your emotions govern the point you're trying to portray. Now back again to Edo State. Some of the opinion that the only party they have seen doing some work, so to speak, is the ruling party. Do you share this view?
What do I anticipate? What do Edolites anticipate? What do Nigerians anticipate? Yes, because they have the money. We can take loan to campaign. We can take loan to do all manner of things pertaining our political party and our ambition. But do you know that even the Fiscal Policy Acts prohibit taking loan to give loan? I saw just now on the papers, the president asking for
$1.5 billion extra
loan for 15 million Nigerians. That is laughable. How do you take loan to give loan? Does that person think? And that is why you see today we can take loan to run a political party and nobody will ask questions. There is nowhere in the world that happens save in Nigeria. So now that they've taken all the loans to run their political party because they are the aim of affairs, the other political parties are helpless. They don't have access to get loans to run their own political parties. Is that not what we witness and experience in this country? See, the state I can describe Nigeria just now is hooray for thunder. What Christopher Okibo wrote years ago. I think to be precise, if my memory judges me correctly, in 1963. See, hooray for thunder, Wilson. Even as we are in the studio here, hooray for thunder. Because when we see things, the way things go in Nigeria, and somebody will not tell me, oh, believe in Nigeria, I say, thank you, sir. I believe that things will be better, I say, thank you, sir. But the question I ask, show me the foundation you have laid. Is it the foundation of taking more loans? In 1999, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, when he came with the experience and expertise of Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, some, or if not all, of the debts we were owing were wiped off. But where have this crop of men taken us back to? And you say, oh, Nigeria should be a super country. Yes, mentally, Nigerians are superstars. But when it comes to the working of governance, there's a problem. Because, you know why? In quotes and unquotes, Agberos are the ones ruling us.
How can you say Agberos are the ones ruling us?
Wilson.
We have persons with top-notch qualification ruling us. Anyway, it's been displayed in courts. Until that judgment is arrived at, we don't have the right to say Agberos are the ones. When it comes to Edo State, we have a governor. Go to Kogi State, go to Bayelsa, go to all states across the federation.
You want to mention Kogi?
These are seasoned governors with certified certificates. So why would you say
from
Agberos are ruling?
From CSU or from Toronto? See, we've had enough drama. And I think it is high time we started telling ourselves the chloroquine bitter truth. I am not saying that if you are educated, you will make a good ruler or leader, as the case may be. No, that's not what I'm saying. When you think right, you make a better leader. But in Nigeria, we don't have leaders. In the words of late music maestro Joseph Osaimori, he said we have dealers. And I agree with him absolutely. That is the situation we find ourselves. And that's why things are not moving fast. Now we are talking of elections that will be held next year, and perhaps the pattern of leadership will not change by November next year. But we have not been able to sit down and tell ourselves, how does today look like? What will tomorrow be before next year? Until we get elections right, we will not get any other thing right.
Talking about election in Edo State, some of the opinion that the works done by this present administration in Edo State will be a landmark for determining the outcome of the election come November, well, I'll say next year, so to speak, in Edo State. And that might just be a solid front for campaign for the ruling party in Edo State. What do you feel about that comment?
If INEC will allow it, commonsensically,
INEC, they're the umpires.
Commonsensically, the people ought to determine who rule them. And that is one of the reasons I am one of the advocates who is against going to court for the court to determine who becomes a leader. It's dangerous to the courts. It's dangerous. The people should be the ones that should elect their leaders. And until INEC and the politicians agree to allow the people to determine who rule them. Because if we are to take analysis from all the elections we've had in Nigeria since 1999, I don't think there is any that does not have one or two questions, save for the one we had in Edo State almost 3 years ago. Wonderful elections. Pretty good one. Kudos to INEC then. Because,
why is it then?
Then, because they allowed the people to determine who ruled them against all odds. The people stood and said, this is the man we want.
So why are you pessimistic about the forthcoming election? Because we have 3 other elections before they also the election.
The elections of 25th February has taught me some lessons. The elections of the 11th day of March 2023 has taught me more lessons. The local government election we witnessed in Edo State has given me a further lessons. And that we are going to witness in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi, I hope we are alive to witness it. Talk more of the one coming forth on the 25th, or rather 2024 in Edo State. Wilson, except, I repeat, except INEC and the politicians allow the people to determine who will rule them, The other elections that we are going to witness in Nigeria, we are going to witness gross voter apathy. The people are tired. The people are hopeless and helpless. What I describe as a state of huga muga, despair. And I just hope maybe we will use the elections of Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi as a litmus test to see whether the INEC is unrepentant or INEC is repentant.
You keep saying INEC repentant, unrepented. They are the ones. Because
who conducts the elections?
From what they said is what they give to them from the field. That's what they present. Anyway, we're not talking about INEC right now. Let's focus more on EDO 2024 that is approaching. Though we have our elections by the corner, just as a litmus test for the process of election in Nigeria. Some are saying EDO State right now says stand is going to be a show of might, a show of power between the state and the federal. And of course, it's going to trickle down to the local government. What do you have to say about this?
Okay, imagine we are saying a show of might between the state and the federal. Then where is the people? Imagine that. That goes to tell you that the people are the downtrodden. They don't determine who rule them.
But they go out there to vote. They tell me who ruled them.
We see.
But they are saying state might versus federal might. Hence, everyone is working right now in those, especially the ruling party in those states. They're doing all they can.
The might ought to be the people. The might ought to be the people of Nigeria, the people of Edo State, and not whether federal somewhere. What is federal? Not state. What is state? Who make up the state? Who make up the federal we are talking about? Is it not the people? So until the provisions of section 14(2)(a) of the extant constitution is allowed to see the light of the day, then we will not be talking of might from top the ladder and at the middle of the ladder. We don't need their might. The might ought to belong to the people. And that is what I stand for. The people of Edo State should determine who rule them come next year. Just as we were allowed to determine who ruled us about 3 years ago. If we are allowed, if the people are allowed to vote or elect who rules them, would there be any need to talk about federal might and state might? And even the federal might and state might you are talking about, it's a mere jamboree. What if there is an agreement between the federal and the state that, oh, just will allow you to win the election after that decamp, just as we are already witnessing? A few days ago, somebody decamped from YPP to APC at the Senate. So there could be that kind of arrangement, and also to escape EFCC's wrath. There could be that kind of arrangement, and already I see that kind of arrangement. I see it. So when you tell me about federal might, I said the federal is mightless. When you tell me about the state, I said the state is mightless. The might belongs to the people. And that is how it ought to be.
Do they have might now from your analysis?
In the West,
you said the might ought to be. That word ought. Are you not saying that they don't have the might?
The people don't have the might.
Why would you say that?
That is why we are talking about federal and state might. If the people have it, it will be needless to talk about federal and state might. Needless. But because that is what is in vogue, that is the reason why we are talking about it. So, I do think and hope that our leaders will sit down and begin to tell themselves the truth. That look, do we want Nigeria to move forward? Do we want Nigeria to move onward? And do we want Nigeria to move upward? Not until they ask themselves these questions and see how things will go right, we'll be talking about federal and state might. But I want to tell you that where the people have the right to determine who rule them, who govern them, then the federal and state might are needless.
All right. But right now, from your own analysis, that means somewhere along the line, this might will come into play.
from the federal and the state.
Yes.
It's already playing. That's why the people are silent. And that's why I did tell you from the outset of this program that we are going to witness gross voters apathy, because the people know that they don't have might. But the politicians will come and tell you, oh, you wonderful people of Nigeria and Edo State, you are the people who have the might. But we know with their agbada, we don't have the might. They do. Can't you see the way they rule us with so much impunity? They rule us as if that description, the analysis I gave you about the hair. The people of Nigeria are the hair. And the man who drops the corn and walks away are the politicians.
Are you not saying that we don't have good politicians in Nigeria? Is that what you're saying right now? We don't have good politicians. Is that what you're saying?
We'll see.
Because after all, according to studies, you are a political animal, despite the fact that you studied law.
Spare me that gimmick.
But it's the truth.
Spare me that gimmick.
But it is the truth.
When it comes, that is only applicable elsewhere. It's not applicable here in Nigeria.
Says who?
Says the politicians. First of all, the principles of democracy. Are we adhering to it? What are the principles of democracy? Equality before the law, rule of law, and others that follow. Are we practicing that in Nigeria? Then if you not tell me that, look, oh, Obakpolo, you are a political animal, I will just look at you and laugh at you. That, oh, what do you mean by I'm a political animal? Is it because I'm in existence? That is why I'm a political animal. What we practice in Nigeria is what George Orwell in his piece, Animal Farm, displayed. All animals are equal, good, but some are more equal than others. That is what we see here. They have turned upside down the 7 commandments. In fact, in Nigeria just now, God in his supremacy gave 10 commandments. But you know, in Nigeria now, we have 11th commandment.
Which is?
The politicians. If it is possible for them to sniff the life out of every one of us, they will do that. Or if it is possible for them to store the oxygen that you and I breathe, they will do that for themselves. And that is why, see, until there is this nexus between the rulership and the followership, this will not work well. But there is a disconnection just now between the rulership and the followership. And it's deliberate. And that has been existing years ago in the northern part of Nigeria. They used religion to disconnect the people. And now we have adopted that in the southern part of Nigeria. There are more pains, more poverty, more penury to the people. And the people will be helpless like the hen. So, until we begin to consider all of that, what you call 2024 elections, Edo State elections, may not make any meaning.
All right. Now let's take a look at the arrangement right now in Edo State to get to realize that in each local government we have chairman or local government bosses which emanate from political party, which is the PDP. Some are saying that that is like an added advantage to the political party in the sense that they now have the might, the right to permeate the grassroots effortlessly, and that may cause some kind of stiff resistance to parties that will come in vying for that same position vis-a-vis the governor's seat. What do you have to say about that assertion? Is
that not the reason why we hear of the jingoism, 18/18? That is the reason. But it might not work.
Why?
Yes. If the people are given the chance to now elect, that may not work. And what some analysts have described as federal and state might, if the federal chooses to exercise its might using INEC as a tool, it might not work. So you now see that the 18/18 and the councillorship, about 100 and how many thousand councillors we have in Edo State, might also not work. Because even amongst the purported chairmen and the councillors, They are loyal to someone else, even outside the governor. We are going to witness
Loyal to someone else outside the governor. How? Who gave it this info?
We are going to witness a rainbow-like of betrayal.
Betrayal?
Yes.
Are you speaking as a prophet of what you've seen already happening?
I am not one, but I'm an observer. And do you know that even the devil does not know the intent of man's hearts? But from what you say, we can deduce what you have in your hearts. And we've heard some of them speak.
In private or in public?
We'll see. That will manifest at the elections. So that's why I'm telling you that when you think you have everything under your control, you are only deceiving yourself. Because the possibility of having none under your control is also there. The kind of politics we play is a dangerous politics that any person can betray the other at any time. We've witnessed in this country where political godfathers anoint their political children, and immediately the political children take power. They betray their political godfathers. We've witnessed it in this country. So why do you think that of Edo State will be different? What is the relationship between the then governor Adams Ali Oshomole and the incumbent governor Mr. Godwin Obaseki just now? You have the answers. Now Oshomole is still with APC. Our amiable governor is now with PDP. What is the meaning of that? So why do you not think that all the chairmen, 18 local government chairmen and councillors are under the governor's whims and caprices? More so that the governor leaves next year and they still have about 2 years to spare. Meaning their loyalty will now go to the incoming governor. Is that not true? See, it's simple arithmetic.
But some are saying, according to simple arithmetic, also they may want to work to sustain the legacy of this governor to retain their 2 years, at least for it to go into full cycle completion.
We have a company of betrayers amongst the politicians.
Betrayals?
We do. Even in the family fold, we've seen betrayers, whether nuclear or extended. We've seen that. Now, why do we think that the political parties will be different when it is now a norm to betray at will? Where we have deliberately, consciously jettisoned morality and adopt immorality. Where we begin to tell people, oh, go to court. There is difference between morality and law. That morality and law cannot move pari passu. Where do you think we are heading to? Where do you think where we choose to make a wrong a right? Where do you think we are going to? I seated here talking. Am I upright in my doings? How do I see my next door neighbor? How do I see him or her? How do we see each other in this country? Have we not divided the country on ethnic ground and religion? I don't like to talk about this, but let me just talk about it. See, in Israel just now, whatever religion you belong to, you fight for the common good of Israel. Also in the Palestine, you fight for the common good of Palestine. But here is it like that? Somebody will tell you that my brother in Niger is more dear to me than you in Nigeria. Somebody will tell you that. Oh, this group of persons are our foot soldiers. Don't wipe that race. Don't commit genocide. Is that not what we see? And all of these have reflected in our elections. But when you say it, people look at you and say, what is he talking about? Is he not in this country? And we are choosing to take it like that. Who said so? And that is why we are where we are. So, I will not be dazzled by the promises made or to be made by INEC or the politicians. I will not. Instead, I think my case just now is like that of the dog. Sit down and look.
Sit down and look. If you just joined us, this is a TMI Sunday's edition. We're taking a look at the 2024. Yes, X-raying the readiness of political parties, but he just raised a something that is just there lurking. I use the word lurking because it's lurking, creeping slowly, gradually into the hearts of many politicians, mainly electorate. They're saying the betrayal, whether you just raised it. Would this make persons to be cautious while dealing with their aspirants or their candidates, or the candidate dealing with the electorate because of that word betray? Because he said it's going to be rampant when the time gets so close.
You know what? Amongst the politicians, they don't deceive themselves. They know. The problem are even we, the followers, who deceive ourselves and think that these people don't know what they are doing. There's a gross conspiracy against the people. And that's why when I'm privileged to address the people, I put myself, in the first place, I put myself in their position because I'm one. Then I make them to understand that, look, we are fighting a battle of divisions. Like somebody said, he said, oh, we are all students in this world, but we belong to different classrooms. I agree with that. And that is the situation in Nigeria. All Nigerians, but we belong to different class. And the so-called super class, quote now, is inflicting pains on the lower class. And that's why you see the politicians, even why they anoint XYZ, they still place their searchlight on that XYZ. Because they have their own fears. And their fears is selfish.
Selfish fear?
Yes. Not because of the people. Oh, when I leave, will this man still be loyal to me? Over the years, some have benefited that loyalty. Over the years, some, not all. But we have more of the betrayer. And that is why the forthcoming elections are going to speak volume. Because amongst themselves, they know there is a problem. Some who come under the platform of Party ABC are interested in connecting themselves to federal might. So, because of that, what will they do? Oh, let me just use this platform to get there. After that, there will be what some of them call a switched. So you just switched. That's what they call it. They don't even call it decamping again. Because decamping to them is a sin. So they switched. Switching is a norm. And that is what we have witnessed. And in a situation where you have people who want to be switching and off-switching, do you think those people will not have the interest of the people?
But I believe that
to see that they make life better for the people.
But the law right now is straight about the campaign. If you decamp, you lose your office.
What law? Is it not when there's somebody approaches the court? Okay, we just witnessed somebody that switched from YPP to APC. Who has gone to court? Even make the attempt to go to court. And you know, the law also provides us that it is only somebody who contested with him at the primary that cannot go to court. So even as a Nigerian, me and you now, we cannot go to court. The question of local standard will come up. Do you have right to even bring this matter? That is also the law. So what is the law we are talking about? The law that favors a few? Why can't we make the law play? Oh, if this happen, any person, as long as you are in Nigeria, can go to court. Why will we make it that, oh, it is only those who contested with him at the primary? Meanwhile, those who contested with him at the primary are in one other side benefiting. So you see the whole drama. Indeed, we are living in an animal farm.